Yes, coming up at the end of Sleaze, I do have a little something. I have a surprise. at the end of Sleaze.
Well, let's get through it quickly.
Look at that look on Leslie's face.
Come on, I like surprises.
What could this be? Sleaze us.
Oh, okay. I am so, behind on all my true crime, Barnes. I'm in the middle of, that Manson thing that dropped on Netflix. And now, here we go. This started yesterday on Hulu. Last Take, The Rust and the Story of Helena Hutchins.
I got to watch that.
The documentary investigates, of course, the tragic day that Alec Baldwin's prop gun fired a live bullet on the set of the movie Rust, killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins.
Such an awful story. I need to watch that. Thanks for reminding me. How's the Manson thing? I have a hard time going back to dated.
It's good.
Video things.
I wanted to ask you. You mentioned that to me off air the other day, and why is that? Because a lot of these, just like the one that you and I watched about OJ, there's all this new footage that we never knew about before.
OJ was 90s, so I'm still comfortable because that's in my lifetime. When you get into that 60s old grainy footage, I just lose interest for some reason. I know the story doesn't change.
Well, they play some of his music. Remember, Charles Manson had music, and then they talked about, he became friends with Dennis Wilson from the Beach Boys, which was interesting, and they wrote a song together. Dennis put that song on one of the Beach Boys albums, but didn't include Charles Manson as a writer.
Whoops.
And Manson didn't like that.
Yeah. That's the wrong guy to screw with, leaving off a credit.
I know, and then they have all this, footage of his girls back in the day. I thought it was really good, so I will recommend that. Check this out. Big Bang Theory has a podcast they're launching on March 17th. Do you think it's a little bit kind of late to have a Big Bang Theory podcast?
Well, all these shows are doing...
why didn't they do it in the middle of the show?
Because they're doing watchcasts now. They're doing where they go back and they go through all the seasons. So it makes sense because more people are doing it, but that just is a weird... I would just go watch the season again if I...
Yeah.
Then again, Curb Your Enthusiasm did it, and it was great. They tell stories.
Well, exactly. They're going to start with an episode about the unaired pilot of the series, and remember, the creator was Chuck Lorre. So some of the people that were on the cast will be in the show. Doesn't mention Kaley Cuoco, though. She is not mentioned here at all. It's Kunal Nayar and Kevin Sussman.
Exactly. It's all the people that weren't made famous from it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're getting theirs somehow. But I wonder how they get away with rights for that. I wonder how they're able to play clips.
Well, probably because Chuck Lorre is the creator, so he's behind the podcast.
Oh, he's behind the podcast. I missed that part. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. He is behind the podcast, so there you go. Hey, the Max original series Conan O'Brien Must Go has been renewed for a third season before the second season premieres in May. That's good news. This is that comedy travel series that features Conan traveling to New Zealand, Australia, and Spain in its upcoming 3-episode season.
It's really good. And he's basically done the Barnesology play. The reason I made my company, you travel all over the world and get paid for it.
Should I watch it?
Very funny. He puts himself in really funny... If you like Conan, you'll think it's funny. And he puts himself in really funny, situations.
I have to admit, Don Johnson might look better than he's ever looked. I mean, he looks like a stud. Anyway, he was talking about warning his daughters about pursuing acting. And, of course, one of his daughters being Dakota Johnson.
Oh, you must be a proud papa. Your son Jesse, your daughter Dakota, following in your footsteps. So they come to Papa for some acting advice?
Well, I warned them against it. I mean, I said, this is not for you. I'll tell you a quick funny story. Okay. When Dakota was graduating high school, we have a rule in the family. And the rule is that if you don't go on to college, you get a job. You're off the family payroll. So out of high school, I went to Dakota and I said, do you want to go visit some colleges? And she goes, oh, I'm not going to college. And I went, oh, that's interesting. How are you going to look after yourself? And she says, don't you worry about it. I'm going to be an actress. And I went, oh, what would I have seen you in? Nothing, right? Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. 3 months later, she had that part in The Social Network, and she hasn't looked back.
Oh, my gosh.
And Oliver Peoples campaign. I said, I'll just be over here in the corner.
I'll tell you some inside because it's been out with paparazzi, so I can tell you. When Crash and I were at Naviva, the Four Seasons in Mexico, Dakota Johnson and Chris Martin were just there.
Oh.
And they had come, and there were paparazzi that rented boats and they had lenses the size of 2 basketballs out on boats. And they said that Chris and Dakota were so cool about it. They're like, you know what? It's just part of the game. So they're trying to lay on the beach, and these little dudes in little boats with massive lenses were just sitting there snapping away. So it was public where they were. But every single staff person said both of them couldn't have been nicer. They would tell stories. They were just hanging out. They weren't, putting them off and pushing them back. I love hearing that.
We know firsthand what a cool guy Chris Martin is, but you get to that point where I guess it's part of the thing, right?
It's part of the thing.
It's crazy.
Travel with a bodyguard, but it's so secluded that they didn't even need the bodyguard, so they put him up next door in some, fancy place, and he got to hang out while they just chilled out. But wow. I love hearing that when these big famous people are super nice.
Danny McBride all over the place, of course, promoting Righteous Gemstones. I really like him. He reveals how they got one Mr. Bradley Cooper to play the first gemstone in the Righteous Gemstones.
It felt like a fitting way to start the last season, is going back and showing maybe how this empire began. And so it just felt like it was a fun, creative thing to try to challenge ourselves with. But as far as Bradley Cooper, when I wrote the episode, I had no idea who was going to be in it. And then, when it came time to cast, it was like, this is a very tall order. None of the cast is in this. It's a period piece. It's of a different tone.
Yep.
Who could possibly step in here and people wouldn't be disappointed? And I think I just threw off the cuff, somebody awesome like Bradley Cooper. And then my producing partners were like, well, why don't we just ask Bradley Cooper? And it was like, well, he's not going to do the Gemstones, is he? And I reached out and gave it to him, and he responded. And he wanted to do it. And he had actually never even seen the show before. And he said that he wanted to hold off on watching until we were done shooting because he didn't want to have it influence what he was going to do. And I just thought it was awesome. And it was kind of amazing how he felt like a gemstone, even without seeing any of it.
What a great get. And he hadn't even seen the show.
He's like, yeah, how about Bradley Cooper? And then he gets Bradley Cooper.
So cool. And the last Sleaze story, this is my thing that I said I wanted to show you at the end.
I love it, yes.
So a lot of people wonder and ask questions sometimes about what the different, what we do, these people on this show, us, me, Leslie, Crash, whoever, what we do, because we do different things. When this came back, we were all doing our lives. And one of Leslie's aired on Monday night. We didn't get to this yesterday. And when you see this kind of thing on TV, I think it's so cool. What you guys don't know, because Leslie's too humble to talk about it, she helped produce this Ringo Starr special on CBS. Listen to the names in this clip I'm about to play you. Jack White, Sheryl Crow, T-Bone Burnett, Emmylou Harris, Rodney Crowell, Mickey Guyton, Rebecca and Megan Lavelle, Jamie Johnson.
Well, yeah, they're called Larkin Poe, yeah.
Okay, Larkin Poe. Billy Strings. All these people playing with Ringo and doing a song. I'll play a clip of it, but Leslie put that together.
Well, I was part of booking the show.
Oh,
and I did
Leslie.
get to interview Mr. Jack White.
All Leslie.
No, it's not me, but it really cool that everybody got together and sang with Ringo at the end.
Leslie will deflect all of this all day. She's flipping working with a Beatle.
It is Ringo. Peace.
Check out this clip from Leslie's show.
Stop it.
On CBS. It's kind of We Are the World-ish. That's very cool.
Yeah. How about our friend Sheryl Crow in there? Love her so much.
How was it working with a Beatle?
You know what? He was really cool. And for his age, he's over 80. He's got more energy than us.
He's over 80?
Yeah, he's 82, I think. It's crazy.
Okay, the next question. When's he going to be on the Morning X?
Well, he's got this record. This new
Come on.
country album he's producing. I'm trying to get him on the Morning X.
We've already had McCartney. What other station could have a living Beatle?
A Beatle.
All right, Leslie. Good job. Bravo, Leslie Fram.
Thank you. Thanks, Barnes.
On CBS. This is the original. This is 99X.
Hi, I'm Joe Saul-Sehy, host of the Stacking Benjamin Show.
You want financial independence, don't you? You want to know how all this stuff works instead of these little sound bites?
Listen to some finance people on the radio, and they're like, oh, you're stupid.
Because people fall in this trap all the time.
You don't deserve to have money.
You're buying a lot of air.
Interest sucks. Oh, the horrors.
You never knew personal finance could be this fun.
Subconsciously, I now feel rich.
Oh, geez, I'm out of here. Revolution over. We won.
Yeah. Deuces, everybody.
Stacking Benjamins. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.